Hello and welcome, Pokemon fans. There are those who call me Bard Breaker, and it's time for another spooktacular October Sunday Pokemon Challenge run. Last week we had a pretty good run with Mischievous through Fire Red, and that was actually pretty easy for most of the run, so let's get one that's going to be quite a bit harder this time. Today we're going to ask and answer the question, can I beat Pokemon Emerald with just a Houndour? Houndour is of course the dark fire dog that was introduced back in Generation 2. We have a base stat total of 330, which puts us on par with Pokemon like Buizel, Voltorb, and even Delibird. Our highest stat is our special attack with 80, which will do well for most of our fire and dark moves. Other than that, we don't have a lot going for us. Everything else is pretty meh, and our defense is absolutely atrocious. At least water is special, so I don't know, maybe that'll be decent enough for our special defense to deal with? Yeah, I don't know. Let's go ahead and take a look at our moveset and see what we have going for us. Leer and Ember right out of the gate is pretty decent. A nice same type attack bonus move right away is always helpful. Other than that, we don't get a dark attack until level 25, but once we get there, we do learn some pretty good moves in relatively quick succession. We get Bite, Feint Attack, Flamethrower, and Crunch. All are really good moves, and all are going to come in really quick succession once we get to a high enough level. Our TM moveset though is pretty abysmal. We don't have a lot of good options. And considering there's a lot of water we're going to have to deal with, our best option may be Sunny Day and Solar Beam, which could make for an interesting strategy. So at this point, I'd like to remind you guys that I write the script as I go with the challenge, so at this point before I've started, I haven't played the game yet. Everyone go ahead and comment down below to please the almighty algorithm, god of the YouTube algorithm, and let me know if you think I can do this or not. I'm going to say that we might be able to do it, but we're going to have a lot of trouble with the Water Gym, the Ice member of the Elite Four with her water Pokemon, and of course Wallace the champion who uses mostly water types. We're either going to need to hit really hard with our dark types or rely on the Sunny Day Solar Beam combo. So lastly, let's take a final look at our rules. In battle, I can only use Houndour. I'll need other utility Pokemon for HMs, but I won't be allowed to use those Pokemon in battle. I also won't be using any items in battle. Held items and items outside of battle will be allowed though. And finally, no cheats, glitches, or exploits, so let's begin. So I start the run off by extricating myself from the neglectful Mother's Moving Company van that we've been carelessly tossed into, and after we set our clock and snoop through May's room looking for her diary of lost love, we begin. We start out by being sent into the wild to find the local Pokemon expert being subdued by the tiny Pokemon Zigzagoon. We reach into his satchel and get our first glimpse of Houndour. I've used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Torchic with Houndour so that we can do the whole run with it. This way, May is going to wind up taking Mudkip, which will be the hardest Pokemon for us to fight. Against the Zigzagoon, we win the battle with one shot. After going back to the lab, we nickname our Houndour Zero, after the dog from Nightmare Before Christmas, a movie that I've actually never seen. Feel free to skewer me in the comments for that. Ours is modest nature, so extra special attack at the expense of attack. I am 100% A-okay with that. This is about the best nature we could have gotten. Dark and Fire moves are all special in Generation 3, so we don't have a lot of regular attacks that are going to use the physical attack stat anyway, so that's really a nice nature for us. Our ability is Flash Fire, which actually makes us immune to fire type attacks and will instead power up our own fire moves by 50% if we do get hit with one. Unfortunately, outside of Flannery, there really aren't a lot of fire trainers in Emerald, so I'm not really sure how much that ability is going to help us. I would have rather had Early Bird. So once we're set out on our adventure, we have to fight and defeat May to progress in the game. Unfortunately, we only know Ember and Leer, so we're not going to win against this Mudkip. Not at this level. We try again at level 7, and it goes a lot easier this time. We're able to Ember down her Mudkip on our first attempt. After getting our Pokedex and our balls, we start off by catching a Zigzagoon for Cut later, nicknaming it Snip to Kiss the 32nd, long may he cut, and then shortly after arriving in the next town, I catch myself a Marill for Surf, Waterfall, and Dive later, nicknaming it Aquadiz the 32nd, long may he swim, and follow that up with a Lotad for Flash later, nicknaming it Flashelius the 32nd, long may she shine. I also take the time at this early juncture to round up 4 members of the local Zigzagoon Kleptosius Brigade for their pickup ability. Pickup is an ability that gives each of these Zigzagoons a 10% chance to pick up and hold an item after each Pokemon we knock out. What they can pick up varies by level now in Emerald, and I'm not going to grind them up so that we can find more useful items, but we can still find stuff like potions and even rare nuggets that will definitely help with money. After momentarily contemplating the deep existential questions of our time, do Pokemon say their names, or are they named after what they say? Do you bury a dead Trubbish, or do you throw it in the trash can? We proceed into Petalburg Woods where we have our first run-in with Team Generic Bad Guys, and quickly burn down his Poochyena, and from there we stop to catch a Tailo for Fly later, nicknaming it Flapsity the 32nd, long may she fly. After that, we make our way into Rustboro City. Now, we're definitely not high enough to deal with Roxanne at the Rock Gym yet. All her Pokemon resist our Ember. We're gonna need to go ahead and grind up a few levels. At level 15, I decide to try just to see where we stand, and even though we do beat the first Geodude thanks to a lucky critical hit, we're just not gonna beat her at this level. We're weak to her rock moves as well. We may just have to grind up until we learn Bite at level 25. Let's see what happens. So I try again every few levels, but it's just not happening. Finally at level 25 we learn Bite and give Roxanne another try. And would you look at that, we one-shot the Geodudes with a Bite each, and we nearly one-shot her Nose Pass. It survives on a sliver and hits a rock tomb before being healed, but we're able to bite it back, and after at least a couple of Simpsons episodes worth of grinding, we've finally gotten our first badge. That was not a grind I was expecting to have this early. I completely forgot about being weak to rocks. But at least now we should have some smooth sailing ahead. After leaving the gym, we're witness to a theft of sorts and sent to chase down the thief who's hidden himself in a cave. After one-shotting the Poochyena with an ember, we get back the stolen Devon goods as well as rescuing this old sea captain's stolen bird. I'm not sure why you'd even steal a bird, but hey, I'm not here to judge. In return for our efforts, we're sent on Package Delivery Simulator once again. And we stop on the way out of town for just a moment or two for the optional rival fight against May, and it's a one-shot sweep with Bite. Yeah, we're over-leveled from our Roxanne fight, so that wasn't a surprising result at all. We make our way back to Petalburg, where we engage the old man whose bird we rescued earlier, and he graciously gives us a ride to the next town over at Dewford. From there, we make a run for the fighting gym and his leader, Brawly. I guess I really didn't think about being at the type disadvantage in the first two gyms for this run, did I? Indeed, despite the level gap, we lose our first couple attempts thanks to the Makahita using bulk up and then hitting hard with a super effective Vital Throw. Probably didn't help that I didn't heal before the fight. In any case, let's try this again with full health. Just like the previous two attempts, his Machop and Meditite just want to boost up and choose not to attack us. Makuhita is the real big obstacle here. He's fairly bulky even without the bulk up, and he withstands an Ember pretty well. Fortunately, this time we land for a critical hit and get a lucky burn. Brawly does heal it up a bit with a Super Potion, and this time instead of Vital Throw, it goes for Reversal. That gives us the opening we need though to hit it down with another Ember and secure our second badge. After completing one round of Package Delivery Simulator by delivering the letter to Steven, we go ahead and make a run for Slateport City. Once here, we deliver our Devon goods to Captain Stern and then complete another round of Package Delivery Simulator to make our way north and catch an Electrike for strength later, nicknaming it by Septicus the 32nd. Long may she live. And now we have another rival fight with May. And just like before, she's an easy one-shot sweep with Bite. Only her Marsh Top actually survives one, but it just wastes its turn not hurting us, so we're free to make our way north to the next town and Greater Conquests. Speaking of Greater Conquests, we arrive at Watson in the Electric Gym. Normally he's a difficult challenge for a lot of people, but this time we don't really have anything standing in our way. We one-shot the Voltorb and the Electrike with Bite, and a lone Ember brings down the Magneton. His Manectric lasts a fair while longer, while mostly due to the heals from Watson. But once Watson gets tired of throwing aspirin at the Pokemon, we finally bring it down and secure another badge. Now that we've beaten Watson, one thing we can do is get the TM for Hidden Power and test our typing. Again, for those of you playing along at home, here's your scorecard. Now let's see if you can guess our type. First up, we have an Electrike giving us a neutral result. That eliminates Flying, Steel, Electric, and Ground. Next up, we find a Poochyena, which gets another neutral result, which will eliminate Dark, Ghost, Psychic, Bug, and Fighting. Next, we get a not very effective result on Oddish. That really helps narrow it down as it eliminates everything except grass and water. Lastly, we fish up a Magikarp and get a not very effective result which gives us our hidden power typing. Water. Well, that's basically useless, but good to know nonetheless. After some obligatory back and forth across the region, we make our way up Mount, Fiery Hot Place, and we have our first face-off against Maxie. It's Dark Dog versus Dark Dog, and we hit hard with an Ember, but get hit with a Sand Attack. We miss our next shot as we get hit with a Bite, but land our third to bring down the Mighty Ina. Camerupt is next, and we land a Bite for big damage and a flinch, but Maxie uses a Super Potion to heal it back up. Another critical hit Bite brings down the Camerupt, and last out is Zubat, but goes down to a single Ember. Huzzah, we've just beaten Team Bad Guy number 1. And speaking of fire, we make our way through the Fire Gym and find our way to Flannery, the Fire Master. And we're still over-leveled from the start of the game, so it's really not much of a challenge. Her Numel and Slugma both go down to a single Bite. Her Camerupt does survive one, but it misses a Tackle and goes down to another. Last out is Torkoal, which takes big damage from Bite, hits us with a Tract, but then despite the fact that we're in love with it, we bite it again for the win. At this point, we have to traverse our way all the way back to Petalburg, and it's time for the normal gym. This brings us the greatest father-son duel since Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader in the clouds of Bespin. And after proceeding, like Luke, to get our butt kicked several times, we finally get a run that starts to look pretty good. We get past the Spinda with full health thanks to a flinch and a wasted Hyper Potion. Slacking is in next and has beastly stats, but this time just chooses to put us to sleep and to keep trying to put us to sleep, even though we already are. Eventually we wake up and bring him down with a critical hit Bite. Next out is Vigoroth, but we bring it down without incident, leveling us up to learn Flamethrower, which makes Lanoon an easy one-shot for our 5th badge. After that, Wally's father fetches us from the gym and gives us Surf. Fun fact, in Ruby and Sapphire, he actually doesn't come to get you here, and I believe a lot of players didn't know where to go for the HM Surf. So in Emerald, it was changed to him coming to actually fetch you and giving it to you unprompted. With that though, a lot of the game opens up for us now, and after some hiking, we make our way to the Weather Institute where we quickly dispatch Team Aqua without incident. It's really nice having this bed here in the middle of nowhere. But think about what the implications of that are. Have you ever just been to a museum or a science center and just taken a random nap in a bed that you found there? On our way down the road, we're accosted by May once again for yet another rival fight. Her Lombre gets off a natural gift and a swift for a touch of damage, but we bring it down with a couple of bites. Slugma goes down to a bite, and last out is her Marshtomp, which we get a lucky flinch on to bring it down with another final bite. Now that May's been pushed out of the way, we can get on to Four Tree City. And after collecting the Devon Scope from Steven, we make our way into the Flying Gym to face Winona. Out first is her Swablu, which goes down to Flamethrower. Out next is Pelipper, and it resists Flamethrower, so I swap to Bite, and after a bit of Protect and Potion stalling, we're able to bring it down too. Altaria is next, and who also resists Flamethrower, we have to use Bite. We get hit hard with Earthquake though, so we have to get some good flinch luck to bring us through. But after the Altaria, it's a quick Flamethrower sweep through Skarmory and Tropius. And with those Pokemon down, we have another badge in the books, and we're looking pretty good here. Shortly thereafter, we make our way to Lily Cove City and have yet another rival fight against May. I know it seems like there's a lot, but we really don't have near as much as Black and White give you. Tropius goes down to Flamethrower, Slugma goes down to Bite, Marshtomp goes down to Crunch, and finally Ludicolo barely survives Crunch just to hit a Swift before going down and putting all of our rival battles behind us now. At this point, there's a huge chunk of the game that opens up, but only to fight the two main Team Rocket wannabes. So first we have to go to Mount Fireplace again, and we have to fight up against Maxie. Up first is another Dark Dog versus Dark Dog rematch, and we bring down the Mighty Eno with Flamethrower. Next out is Camerupt, and it can one-shot us with Earthquake, so we have to get Lucky Flinch, but unfortunately, even luckier than that, we bring it down with a critical hit. Next out is Crobat, and we hit hard with Flamethrower and bring it down with a second Crunch. We actually lost our first few attempts here thanks to the Camerupt's Earthquake. We had to get that Lucky Flinch or a critical hit. After clearing out the Team Aqua hideout, we make our way to Moss Deep City, and it's time for the Psychic Gym. The twins Tate and Liza are the gym leaders here, and it's a mandatory double battle, so to impact the fight as little as possible, I stop and catch the obligatory Magikarp. It'll draw the fire of a single attack, but it's the only thing we can do to progress through this mandatory fight. Beyond that though, the fight isn't difficult at all. In fact, it's a one-shot sweep with Crunch through their entire 4-person squad. That's probably the easiest time we've ever had against Tate and Liza yet. After that, it's back to more discount Team Rocket shenanigans as we fight our way through Team Aqua's underwater hideout, and we have a brief fight against Archie. He goes down without any incident. After his defeat, Archie and Maxie together arrive at the conclusion that they're having a problem with their colorblindness and ill-fated attempts at world domination. After we wake up the sleepy Rayquaza, he then runs away and interjects himself selfishly into the perfectly legitimate turf war between Groudon and Kyogre before puttering off once again. Now we get our chance at the water gym, and after losing our first few attempts, I have a new strategy. I dig into the old TM bag and equip Houndour with both Sunny Day and Solar Beam. Sunny Day will have the benefit of not only reducing water damage by 50%, but it will also allow us to use Solar Beam without waiting to charge up. And wouldn't you know it, we take a lot less damage and we are able to one-shot pretty much the entire team. I do have to set up a second Sunny Day against the Kingdra, but fortunately all it takes is 2 Solar Beams to finish the fight. There we go, we've just secured our final badge of the game and used a kind of clever strategy to do it. Moving quickly onto Victory Road, we're accosted by our pseudo-rival Wally once again. This line took me several attempts to say, but it isn't really a challenge and we just burn his butt into the ground with Flamethrower. You know what's great about flamethrowers? It says that once someone looked at somebody and said, you know, I want to set that person on fire over there, but they're just too far away. In any event, we shuffle our way through Victory Road and we make our way to the Pokemon League. Dark Trainer Sydney is up first, and we start off with a Sunny Day to boost all our flamethrowers, and though we get hit with a sand attack from the Mighty Ena, we actually don't miss any of our flamethrowers. A single flamethrower brings everything down except the Crawdaunt, which we bring down with Solar Beam. His Cacturn did take us around a bit thanks to a Torment, so we couldn't just flamethrower him down right away, but regardless, Sydney was not a challenge for us. Next up is Ghost Trainer Phoebe, and she's just as easy. We took big damage from one of her Dusclops' Earthquakes, but again, thanks to some good accuracy luck despite a double team, we didn't miss any of our attacks. Phoebe is brought down in short order. Ice Water Trainer Glalie is up next, and much like our bout with Juan at the Water Gym, we go for our patented Sunny Day Solar Beam combo here. I've also equipped a Miracle Seed for this fight, specifically to boost Solar Beam's output. And wouldn't you know it, it's an easy one-shot against the Celio, the Walrein, and the Celio. We then swap to Flamethrower against the final 2 Glalies. Gotta love one-shot sweeps against the Elite Four. That being said though, we move on to the Dragon Trainer Drake, and we're gonna have to level up. His Flygon is outspeeding us and one-shots us with Earthquake. I can't learn any ice moves here either, so it's time to grind. At level 78, things finally start to go our way. I set up a Sunny Day against the Shelgon as it protects, and we bring it down with Flamethrower. Next out is a Flygon, and we bring it down with a couple of bites. Salamence is out next, and again we use a couple of bites to bring him down as well. I set up a Sunny Day again against the Kingdra as it starts building Dragon Dance. We're fortunately able to bring it down with a combination of Solar Beam and Bite. Last out is Altaria, and we go for a bite, and though we don't get a flinch, he just sets up Dragon Dance, and we're able to bite him down again for the victory. There we go, we've beaten Drake. Unfortunately though, Wallace is not proving to be doable either. I basically need to flinch the Wailord with a bite and then set up Sunny Day on the Ludicolo, but we're getting hit hard against Tentacruel. I make several run-ups to this and we just aren't making any progress in the fight. I'm gonna have to level up again. So after making numerous attempts, I go back around and pick up a bunch of rare candy that I left lying on the ground and make another attempt with Wallace all the way up at level 95. Wailorder's out first, and we bring it to red with a bite and get a lucky flinch. At this point, Wallace goes for a full restore, so we use the free turn to set up Sunny Day, and then on the second, we get a return with a Solar Beam for a one-shot. Next out is Ludicolo, and we one-shot it with Flamethrower. Next out is Tentacruel, and we hit reasonably hard with Solar Beam as Wallace goes for another full restore. We swap to Bite, and after 2 bites, we bring down the Tentacruel. Wishcash is next, and we set up our Sunny Day again, and we're nearly brought down from an Earthquake that leaves us with just 5 HP. Not looking good. Gyarados is next, and we get a lucky flinch from our bite, and another one brings it down. Last out is Milotic, which we outspeed, hit with a Solar Beam, and we one-shot it for the win. I'm glad I kept bite for the flinch and not crunch. Nothing like beating a water champion with a fire Pokemon. Granted, we had to use a grass move, but hey, whatever works. With that, the credits roll, and we get ourselves into the Hall of Fame. But you know the run isn't over quite yet. We still have the secret post-game fight against Steven Stone. Gonna be interesting, but I think we can do it. Skarmory is up first, so we start by setting up a Sunny Day and it goes for Spikes, wasting its turn. Our next Flamethrower is an easy one-shot even without Sunny Day. Claydol is out next and it's part ground, so it goes down to a single Solar Beam. Metagross is next, and even without the Sunny Day, it goes down to a single Flamethrower. Cradily is next, and it's our last turn of Sunny Day, so we go for a bite instead and get hit with Confuse Ray. Fortunately, we break through Confusion to set up another Sunny Day as the Cradily goes for Ingrain. With our Sunny Day in place, we can one-shot it with another neutral Flamethrower. Up next is our Maldo, and it's the same story. We one-shot it with a boosted Flamethrower. Last out is his Aggron, but once again, we bring the heat and bring it down with another Flamethrower. And there we go. We've beaten the post-game fight against Steven Stone. That only took 2 or 3 attempts. And I'd say that was quite a good ending. Grinding in this one took a long time thanks to Houndour being in the slow XP group, but we still managed to pull it off. With a few levels to spare too. So that's this week's spooky run. I hope you enjoyed. Next week's run will be a final spooky run for the month of October, and I'm not sure what it's going to be yet, but I'm leaning towards Zubat. Also, there may or may not be a special bonus Halloween video coming out on Halloween itself, so be sure to stay tuned for that. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Bard Breaker Discord server at the link in the doobly-doo, and go catch 'em all.